In this video, what I wanted to do is talk about a new way to look at the MyOS framework. For those of you who are familiar with MyOS from the past, we've historically recommended using a tool like Notion, which is a very flexible database tool, to go and track your personal OKRs and really work through the 5 focuses in your life. If you'd like to learn more about what MyOS is as a framework, please go and check out myos.so or myos.so. And if you go to the Get MyOS button here, that'll take you to the existing Notion template that you can go and download. But today I wanted to take a look at how we can translate MyOS from Notion out into a separate app called ClickUp. Now, ClickUp is a fantastic project management tool. I've actually been really impressed with what you get for 100% free with ClickUp. It was originally designed as a productivity tool for the business place, but what you can do is really adapt this to building out objectives and focusing on different aspects of your life to really align to the MyOS framework. And I wanted to show you how you can do that today. Now, the only downside that I found thus far is that I'm not able to save my workspace setup and share that with you. So I'm going to go through in a lot more detail in this video on how this setup is configured and how you can build out this space to really align to the MyOS framework. Now, the MyOS framework is really all focused around personal OKRs and using these objectives and key results as a way to achieve the outcomes that you're looking for in your day-to-day life. Now, there are a couple different ways that you can actually do this in ClickUp. The first way, and kind of the most out-of-the-box way or obvious way, might actually be through spaces. Spaces are how ClickUp contains projects that are being put together. And so as you can see here, you can go and put together an example project of, say, what are the objectives that I want to accomplish in this quarter. So you can have your example objectives, and then in here you have your various different tasks and their various different statuses. And so to follow this outline, you could go through the spaces route, and I will go through that, but I actually want to show a slightly different way of doing this that I think is a little bit more powerful because it's kind of the native way that ClickUp allows you to do this. So if you actually go to goals, goals is a capability that allows you to create what are essentially OKRs and track those inside of ClickUp. And so if I say new goal here, and we're just going to call this example objective 2, and we'll call this maybe achieve superior health. So we'll go ahead and set the owner as me. I'm the only user in this workspace. It's okay if I share this with the entire workspace, that's fine. Is there a date this goal should be completed by? So I want to set this to the end of the quarter. And then we can give this goal a description. Improve my physical health. Awesome. So then we can say okay. And then what it's going to do is you will get this example objective, and then you can create targets. And so this goal is essentially our objective from the OKR, and then the targets are going to be your key results. And so we could say to the gym 30 times. I'll go ahead and select myself as the owner. And then you can select the type of target this is. So I can say, it's going to be a number, a true or false, a currency, or a set of tasks. And in this case, I'm going to go ahead and just say it's a number, and I'm going to say that we want this to be actually 30. So we'll track this at a 30. And now I could add another target, and let's say bench press 225 pounds. I'll assign this to myself. And in this case, I'm actually going to set this as a true or false. Either I've done this or I haven't done this. And then I can say okay. And what you can do is that when you go and update these targets, so let's go in here, and then I can change this current. So maybe I've already gone, say, 15 times. So we can save that update. You'll see that this goes to 50%, and it actually increases my total on this objective up to 25%. And so you've got some really nice roll-ups and calculations that are being done here with almost no effort needing to be put in by you as an end user, which is really, really fantastic from a tracking perspective. Now, if you don't want to use the goals component, or if you want to track this with a little bit more control and granularity than what is allowed out of the goals section, this is where spaces come into play. And now spaces are, again, the way that ClickUp really captures projects. And so in here, what you can do is you can create a new space. And so let's go ahead and we'll call this, let's actually do Q2 OKRs. And so we'll say next. We'll give this a nice little icon and some color. Okay. And then from a task statuses, I typically like going with Kanban. It's kind of got the typical statuses that you'd have, or you can do custom, and you could add some custom statuses such as to do in progress, or you can then do maybe it needs work. This is then at risk. And we can say missed, won't do. There we go. Cool. So now we can go in and change maybe some of these colors. So maybe we want in progress to be green. We want needs work to be orange. We want at risk to be red. We want missed to be maybe this dark red, and won't do, maybe we want this to be gray. And so we also want missed and won't do as done statuses. And so you can see here that you've got your active statuses, and then your done statuses, and then closed, and completed is the only closed status. But we'll go ahead and say next. So in this case, these are various different capabilities that you can add to this space that you are creating. I typically will go and just turn everything on because there's no real reason not to, unless you get distracted by some of these, then you could go and turn them off. So we'll say next. And then in terms of view, I like board, calendar, Gantt, and timeline. You also could add table if you want. So these are just different views. You can always add additional views when you've actually then are in progress of working through this stuff. If you find you want something new, go ahead and say create space. And then you will, inside your space, have these lists. And the lists have various different statuses. And so if we jump back up to my OKR Q1 OKR, excuse me, so this Q1 OKRs space, then you'll see I've got two lists in here. I've got my example objective 1 and my example objective 2. And then within these, I have my various different key results, which are just tasks. And so I can create a new task, and we can call this example key result 5. We're going to set a due date for this, which is maybe Saturday, and we'll say save. And so then as we can track through this, we can set this status from to do to in progress, or if it needs work, or we can set it to complete. Now, the other very nice thing that ClickUp has going for it is that you can add a lot of updates to these tasks as you're going through them. And so if you're having struggles, or if you're needing someone to come and look at stuff, you can really use this as a way to document how you are progressing through these various different key results as they roll up to your objectives. So a lot of power in here. Again, this was originally designed as a project management tool, and so they've got a lot of that capability built in out of the box. Now, what you can also do is, as part of MyOS, and when we've looked at things in the past, you want to be able to have documents or notes, or the ability to track ongoing learning that you might want to have. And so you can also go and create a space for your learning and turn this into a board of what are all the various different tasks that are open. And so maybe we've got our really cool course that we want to have here. And so we can then track that really cool course throughout its stages as we're going through and updating that information or learning that information. When it comes to notes, this is where the docs section comes into place. And so in here you can add new documents or notes, and these are really just rich text files. So we can call this really cool new note. And I could add a cover or an icon or add a relationship, and you get a lot of the flexibility to add things to various different parts of the application or associate these with tasks. You also can do things where you can come in and add tags. And so we've got our 5 focuses of health, creativity, community, productivity, and finance. And so I can tag these with, this is going to be a note that is related to community. And then when I come in here, I want to just filter by these different tags that I now have up here at the top. So it can do a lot of really cool stuff in here in terms of organizing your work or your tracking using this system. So this was a overview of how I would set up ClickUp if you want to use it to really emulate the MyOS framework. Again, a lot of really cool stuff in here that you can go and customize and really make this your own. And a lot of this works just out of the box without any necessary setup or very minimal setup compared to a tool like Notion. While Notion has a lot of power and a lot of flexibility, there's also a lot that can happen in there if you don't understand kind of how the databases work within ClickUp. It's all really taken care of for you. The other nice thing about this is that you do get a very nice dashboard out of this where you can see what are all these tasks that are coming up, what are maybe some reminders that I need to set for myself. So I've recorded this video today and I can say, cool, I'm all done. What is on my calendar? And so I've got a task here that I need to go through and process and do by tomorrow. So you've got a lot of these really nice components that are out of the box and help you manage these various different activities as you go forward. So I hope this was helpful. I hope you guys find this content useful. We'll be looking to do some more videos like this with other tools as well to help align to the MyOS framework. And if you guys do have any questions, please leave them down in the comments or feel free to reach out to us at myos.so. Thanks, everyone.